Christian Louboutin.
That's Louis Vuitton.
It is? What do you mean that's Louis Vuitton?
Wait,
How is Louis Vuitton Christian?
hold on. Now, we're both going to sound so dumb on this podcast.
We're back, people.
Hello.
Hello, Kayla Marie.
Hello, Kailey, Suzanne. Happy Tuesday to all you turkeys out there.
Happy Turkeyverse Tuesday.
There we go. We're getting better.
Shit. We are. We're getting slightly better. Y'all, it's episode 15.
That's a good mark. We're about to be. I like that.
Me too. If we were on MTV, this would be episode Quiero mis quinces. Do you remember that show?
Vaguely. My memory is poor.
That's okay. It's the version of my Sweet 16 in cultures that celebrate 15.
Yes.
So this is our quinceañera episode.
I like it.
Me too. I'm amped. You guys listening can't see this, but I try to name the studio that we record in something every time. Now that I have control powers of naming, and pretty sure Kayla hates it, but it's been fun for me.
I just noticed.
Oh man. Okay. Before we start, welcome back. I mean, we already started, but this episode today is brought to not brought to you by Gimme Hair Ties.
Oh.
Have you heard of them?
I have not. I don't have hair right now.
Well, so in honor of you growing out your hair, I thought I would tell you about them.
Okay.
Best hair ties in the world.
What are they? Not like normal circular ones?
No, they are. Here, I'll show you. They're honestly like they shouldn't be that revolutionary, but Gimme with a G, Gimme. I mean, it seems like it's just normie.
Oh.
But you'll notice that it's like folded.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a microfiber. And see how it's like thick, but it's rolled.
Interesting.
Bro, they don't leave lines like other ones. They're so soft. They don't get all like wrapped around where you get so sad.
Yes. Okay. Once I get to a point where my hair is long enough to put myself in a ponytail again, I will have to buy those. Oh, my coworker has. I thought it was gonna be different because my coworker just showed me one where it's literally looks like a bungee cord. Like it has a fish hook on both sides. Honestly, it looked painful when she demonstrated it to me, but it made her hair stay up nice. Why are you making that face?
Okay, well, it made me immediately think of all the people here who wear like bracelets that have a fish hook on them because fishing culture. I don't know. No. I don't think that's what you're describing.
No, it wasn't. It's just like a little fish hook shape, but you basically connect it, wrap it around, and then connect it again. Like it is not a circular thing. It's a long thing, and there's two distinctive ends, and you just hook it, wrap it, and then hook the other end. Very interesting. Yeah.
I would have to get a whole new set of motor movements.
I know. I would have to practice it quite a bit. But it made her hair, like it stayed nice and tight. You know how normal hair ties like kind of droop down a little bit?
Yeah.
I may try both.
I kind of like the droopies.
Mm-hmm.
Like these, I can do them tied enough so it'll stay, but I kind of like the loose feeling sometimes. All I know is those ones that look like a keychain at a cheap motel. The bungee.
Oh, yeah. Do you like those?
Dude, fuck those.
I was going to say, I feel like I wouldn't like those.
I hate them. They might work for some hair types. They do not work in mine. But these are the best. And they have different thicknesses. I just get the all hair one. But they have like fine hair. So maybe when you have like, when you're ready to do half ponies.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not all of your hair yet.
That's smart.
Yo, such a fan.
Gimme
anyway.
Hair. Gimme More.
I think it's just
Gimme More. Gimme. Oh, I have that song stuck in my head. Okay, sorry.
Before you got here, I was doing stretches and singing new workout plan to myself.
Oh my God.
And for everybody listening, I'm going to be posting behind the scenes Waiting for Kayla on YouTube as a mini episode starting this week. So, or maybe it's going to start already.
Oh gosh.
Either way, they're there and they're available. So
I like it.
Oh, other question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about microfiber cloths?
I believe so, unless you're going in a different direction with this, but we have them for like our cars. Is that what you're talking about?
Fuck me, man. I've been cleaning my car with paper towels.
The outside or the inside?
The inside, not the outside. Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, I didn't know, man. I just have to ask a clarifying question. Wow, bro. We use them on the inside and outside, the microfiber cloths.
So, okay, for the outside, which this was also revolutionary, Jason got me like a retractable pole with like the flat front. So I have like a long scrubby, and he got me like a soft, probably microfiber, but with like the tentacle that attach on it, because my short ass can't reach my ceiling and across. That was already life-changing. But we got back from our trip, and I just wanted to like wipe out the inside. And then I have leather seats now, and I have a car I actually give a shit about that's not 20 years old. And I'm trying to make the interior nice. And Florida sun is really tough on interiors, and the interior's black. The dash shit. So anyway, I was gonna wipe it down with like Armor All to keep things moist. Well, I've been doing this so responsibly, and I've been using paper towels.
Oh my God.
And there's little fuzzy wuzzies everywhere.
Yeah, man. Microfiber cloths are game changing.
Okay, bro. So I have had little like dilly dallies from the paper towel all over my black dashboard, and it's been bothering me. And I'm not real hyperactive about my car interior, but I mean, it's like new to me, and I want it to feel nice. So I don't know. I guess I was like, well, I guess this is just my life. And then I went to clean my car this weekend and walked out there with my wad of paper towels, which I still contend are fine for the seats, like the leather seats when I'm using the leather conditioner on it. And then like finish it with the cloth anyhow.
So how did you
like, here, use this. Just on a whim. Just here, use this. I did one swipe over the dash, and I was like, holy shit. Gone. No fuzzy wuzzies. It was beautiful. What the fuck is wrong with me? I still think I might do paper towel first to get like dust off and dirt, so I don't over... Who am I kidding? I could just buy more than one goddamn microfiber cloth. I'm out here trying to figure out how to preserve it, and it'll cost me like $5 to get a new one. Anyway, it changed my whole outlook on life, car cleaning, dust gathering. I picked all the particles out of the little like lint bits between all of my buttons.
It's great. Well, you know, Kenny's a car guy, so we've had quite a bit for a while. I didn't know you didn't know. But I typically like use one with like, not the spray, but if I'm trying to wipe something down, I'll use one and then I'll go over it with a dry one. So we have one we don't use paper towel at all. We just use the one and then go back with a dry one. That is so funny. I can't. Also,
What have I been doing?
Well, okay. So what, do you ever do it on the outside of the car?
Well, I don't use that on the outside. I haven't yet because my scrubby on a stick has been sufficient.
I feel like sometimes after I get a car wash, not all the water gets, dried off by those things. So I'll go back with a third microfiber cloth that's specifically for the exterior and just like wipe around the license plate, the mirrors, anywhere where the droplets are going to form. And that's really nice for the exterior if you need to like, go over some things that the car wash missed.
To be fair, I haven't been through a car wash with my own vehicle 10 years probably.
That's nice.
I mean, it's going to happen this year coming up in the winter time.
Yeah.
But for everyone listening, I drove a Toyota RAV4, a 2003 Toyota RAV4 forever. 10 years I had it? No, longer. 13 years? I don't know. I got rid of it this year, so it was 20 years old and ran like a charm, but the exterior clear coat started to pick off, and I was like, I'm investing 0% of my life in the exterior of this vehicle. So obviously me and my buddy did not go to car washes. I just did an exterior wash once a year to say that I was a car owner. Anyhow.
That makes sense, though. Well, I'm glad Jason, on a whim, gave you that. I'm surprised you didn't, because you're more of a car person than me. I'm surprised you didn't have this discovery years ago.
I know. Well, it's because, again, I had a beater.
Yeah, that's true. It totally makes sense. Like, you didn't have to, there was nothing you could do with your old car.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure there wasn't I didn't want it to be dirty as in filthy, right. Gross, but I wasn't out here being like, oh, let's make this shit look good from 2003. Mm-hmm.
That's valid.
My aftermarket radio that was in there that was so ridiculous looking by the time I got rid of it. Anyway, God bless Toyota. They did me good. Okay, well, apparently it was just me on the microfiber. Oh, I know what else I was going to ask you. When we were just talking in our real lives, we're talking about prepping baby food.
Yes.
Because baby's coming, and I want you to tell me about it.
Yes, baby is coming, very quickly. And you're like the meal prep queen over here. We'll have to talk about that one day on how you helped me meal prep a lot of stuff, and you have all these amazing recipes, which I've definitely stolen and going to use postpartum. But yeah, so me and my mom, she's graciously come down twice now, and we spent 2 whole days cooking a bunch of stuff because I know I'm not going to want to cook anything after birth because I want to rest and I'm going to need rest, and I know Kenny is not going to have nor want to cook either. So yeah, we have a whole freezer full of food now, which is so exciting. It makes me feel so much better because food is so important for after postpartum. And that's one big thing off my plate to have to deal with and think about. So everything's in little individual baggies. But yeah, so this all came inspired by the book that I read that's called The First 40 Days. So that's all about the first 40 days postpartum and how you're supposed to have a bunch of soothing, nurturing, warming food, easy to digest, because you're obviously just went through a whole thing and you need easy to digest food. It's kind of based on Chinese medicine kind of views. So that's been cool. There's a lot of recipes in that book that I will say feel distant to my palate, my taste palette, with the ingredients that I've been looking at. So some of the things I have not incorporated, but I did go through my own recipes, your recipes, and my mom's recipes, and kind of stayed on that same page with soups, a lot of chili, a lot of it's really a lot of soups, man. Stews, pot roasts, casseroles, stuff that's easy and mushy and stuff like that.
Do they recommend red meat for iron replenishing?
It wasn't specifically in there, but they did mention stews. We have the beef in the stews. There's some, yeah, they don't specifically say that, but they do say, what is it? Bone broth is a huge thing that they say, or some kind of broth, ginger, just protein.
That makes sense for healing.
Yeah. And this thing called congee, which I'd love to try to make. It's an alternative to oatmeal, but it's with rice, I think. We have yet to try that recipe. I think it's not something that you would want to freeze. So I'm going to have to get this stuff beforehand and just like try it out a couple times. But that sounds really, really good. I just don't know how to make it yet.
Is it like a rice pudding?
You can go either sweet or savory with it. So you can have like, it's basically, I think you use a certain type of rice and you just cook it and it's really like gelatinous. And then you can either put like berries, honey, cinnamon on top of it, more like an oatmeal style, or you can put like leftover vegetables and meats and eat it more as like a stew type of bowl situation. So it's like very versatile.
Dude, that would be good with curry in it. Ooh. For like a savory.
That would be good.
And coconut milk.
Yeah, that would be good. Oof. That's the one thing we need to experiment still before we get a little, too close. I want to try those recipes. But the other thing that I found that's really interesting that I am going to love are these lactation like muffins and cookies. I didn't know that was a thing, but it is. And I find it very fascinating. And I totally ate one already, even though I was nervous it was going to make me like start producing. I won't get into that. Anyway, breastfeeding and okay, side note, I have leaked a couple times already. Like literally last night. TMI for the men, sorry. Or if you are parents, you'll know this about your partner, but I was laying on the couch with no bra on and all of a sudden I put my arm down and I took it back up and I was like, oh, what's wet? Look down, there's about a dime size stain on my shirt. I'm like, I'm freaking leaking already.
That's crazy.
I know.
Dude, I hope that means for you that you're going to be like a cow.
I hope so. So interesting.
I mean, I hope that for you so badly. Because I know a couple people who, well, and hopefully you enjoy the experience, but I know a few people who didn't and like were producing a ton. So they were able to pump way ahead and feed. And then basically were able to give their kid breast milk for a year, but they got to stop feeding and pumping at 6 months.
Just like stockpiling it up and saving it. Yeah. That would be the dream. I have no idea how it's going to go. I don't know if this is an indication that it's going to go well or if it's just something that's happening right now, but it's the weirdest thing. So it was funny because I did eat one of the lactation muffins, but they were so good. I'm glad because I was nervous about some of the ingredients. Apparently, I forgot what it's called. It starts with a G, but there's a certain type of food or ingredient or seasoning that helps stimulate milk production. But the two ingredients that we used in the muffins were brewer's yeast, which I was very unfamiliar with, and flaxseed. Huh. So simple. But the brewer's yeast was the one that was weird. I ordered it on Amazon, and I didn't know how it was going to taste. Like, it sounds gross, kind of, but you can't taste anything.
I mean, I love yeast. I love beer.
I know, but I was like, beer, yeasty stuff in a muffin? But I guess it's bread, so.
I guess I was imagining it even like beer bread, which I love.
That would be really good. I have seen some recipes where it's like savory muffins, but these were like chocolate chip and brownie flavored muffins. So I was like, this is going to be weird, but they were so good. I'm going to make a couple more batches because those are going to be my go-to.
I love that.
Yeah. So I feel like...
So all of this was from that book?
Not all of it. The inspiration came from the book. I took a couple recipes from the book, but mostly it's just I'm trying to have all the food that I will need for the most part for the first 40 days while I'm recovering.
Oh, that's a cool timeline.
Yeah. So they say like there's a couple different methods, but really the first 40 days are the most important because it's apparently like so impactful that the first 40 days can impact you for the next 40 years, essentially. How you get back into life after recovery, like mentally and physically. So I'm like, let me do everything I can. Like, obviously, postpartum is going to be something just we have to navigate, but they say like stay in the bed for 2 weeks, stay on the bed for the next 2 weeks, and then stay around the bed the following 2 weeks. So it's like you're in the bed, you're on the bed, and then you're around the bed, like AKA moving around the house. You're not like stuck into just the one room, but just all the rest is supposed to like all the rest and warming foods are supposed to kind of like help you get your chi back, which is like another Chinese medicine type of term, like your energy, all the stuff that you've given to your baby and then, expelled during birth or given away. It's like rebuilding that time. So
that's so interesting.
I know.
So when you say in bed, like literally like in bed and baby's in bed with you?
Mm-hmm. Besides obviously having to like get up and pee and shower and stuff, like literally just
for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, when you talk to people and we talk to our like we have a doula, it's and we've talked about it with each other. Like if I'm feeling depressed and like I would need to go outside for a little bit, or if I just want to, not be in the bed, if I'm feeling trapped, then of course like do what you need to do. But the main point is don't overexert yourself immediately after you give birth and feel like you have to, start the laundry a couple days from now and do this and do that and be up and about and leave the house and feel like you're obligated to do all this stuff when really you need to focus on resting, essentially.
Dude, I love that for our culture.
I know, because everyone's like, hustle, hustle, hustle. Congrats on the baby. When are you going back to work, mama? When are you doing this? Like, everyone feels like they have...
going back to working out.
Yes. Mm. And it's sad because a lot of the times when people do get back into things so quickly, society and potentially their own mental state is like, hell yeah, I can do this. Like, I'm already back. I can do this. But it actually has a worse long-term effect because you're overdoing it, which means you're not internally healing or even emotionally healing. And that catches up with you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you've got to, like you said, you just like gave all of this to something else. Mm-hmm. And you've got to give yourself space. I wonder... That's so interesting.
You also have a huge internal wound that's open that needs to heal. I never realized that. Like where the placenta comes out, that whole space needs to contract and come down and heal and repair itself. That's why some people, if they overdo it, they'll start bleeding postpartum. It's because your interior wound isn't healed. It's so crazy when you think about it. Like, that's why I'm going to let all of my control freak productivity side, like I'm trying to mentally prepare myself to let it go and just focus on recovery and baby and eating well. So
I love that. So essentially you have made it easy for Kenny to feed you.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I'll say, take whatever out of the freezer. He can let it thaw. He can warm it up and bring it to me. And that way I don't want to put all this cooking on him. And so we've done the majority of it beforehand. So.
And what's the difference of being in bed versus on bed?
I think that's just like, that's a good question. In essence, I think it's just like you can still move around, but just be relaxing. Like you don't have to be in the bed and just staying there besides peeing and showering. You can be in the room if you need to walk around, if you want to start stretching or doing anything light, but you're supposed to be on or around the bed. And then the following week, it's like still stay in the house. Apparently, you're not supposed to leave the house or be outside the first 45 days. Like that's in Chinese culture. Because like the cold or the wind or like you're vulnerable. So you want to be like inside. But it's going to be summer in Texas. And I feel like I'll be happy to go out on the back porch, get a little vitamin D so I can feel a little bit happier and not so cooped up. So it's all about personal preference, but that was the inspiration behind all the meal prepping we did, if that makes sense.
I love that. Yeah, I totally love that. I can definitely see you guys have such a great back porch and it's so calming in your space versus if you were living in like a high density city.
Yes, it's very peaceful.
I think Chinese medicine probably comes from back when China was still rural, but I can definitely just see like lounging.
Mm-hmm.
That is so nice that you're giving yourself permission to not do anything. And by not do anything, I mean,
yeah,
do one thing.
Yeah.
Like heal and learn about your baby.
And feed the baby and figure out what to do with the baby and how to, like, all that other navigating stuff. I don't want to have to worry about cooking or doing anything else. So I felt like I was channeling the inner Kailey in meal prepping. It was so much fun too. Like once we got focused, it was long and tiring, but it felt so good. Like seeing the freezer stocked now. Makes me happy.
I love that.
Yeah. So thanks for the inspiration. I took some of your recipes and put them in there. So
do you think some of the recipes are shareable? Could we figure out a way to do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I would be happy to.
I wonder, do you use a recipe, like a specific database? Like, do you have your shit saved somewhere?
Yes, the ones that I found online are have been printed. The ones from the book are printed. And then my mom made me a couple years ago this huge recipe book. I mean, huge recipe book. Everything's printed. Everything's so organized. Nancy did a fantastic job. And a lot of those soup recipes came from her and probably my grandmother. So I know, so
I love
cute.
The generational part of it.
I know. So it's sweet. But yeah, I can look into those and we can share some of them. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be, especially your muffins.
Oh God, the muffins are so good. We definitely share those.
That sounds delish.
Yeah, and they're super easy.
Good deal.
Yeah, man. So
it's so fun.
That's where I'm at for postpartum prep. And then, I mean, I don't even know. We there's obviously a lot of prep, but the other thing that I just finished was my glucose monitoring. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, I think, on one of our previous episodes, but I had this dang thing stuck on my arm. It's supposed to be for like if you're diabetic. It tracks it's like constant glucose monitoring. Instead of doing like a glucose drink where you go in and you drink this sugary drink on an empty stomach and then they take your blood sugar like 2 hours later. Yeah, thumbs down for that.
I've had to do it.
Really? For what? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm trying to remember because it was so long ago. It was back when I was having all those weird medical issues. Not weird. It was my gallbladder. Yeah. Spoiler alert. But before that, they were trying to test all this stuff. So I think they wanted to rule out diabetes.
Gotcha.
So I had to do that test. And that shit on an empty stomach made me so nauseous. Which, granted, if you have diabetes, like if it's what you need to do to test for whatever, which is what they were doing, I understand it. But I would rather do constant monitoring like you're doing for pregnancy and see what your body's at. Shit, I'd like to do that in real life. Like see how your body's actually responding to insulin and sugar and
No, it's been super fascinating. And also the glucose drink, as much as it sucks if you don't have diabetes and it's kind of just like, oh shit, that was a waste of my, just everything. It's so sugary and it makes people sick. But it also, you could have people slide on the radar with that because if they did eat something that was good and protein filled the night before and they just happened to pass the test, but then go back to eating like shit after that, like a lot of people will not show up on that test when they really should be probably monitoring their diet a little bit more. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, this monitoring made me totally readjust my eating habits. It was very eye-opening. Like, for example, I was like, yeah, I'll eat some pineapple for a snack today. That's harmless. It's just fruit, right? I'm thinking I'm being healthy, eating some pineapple. Well, I freaking love pineapple, so I eat quite a bit of pineapple. And then I see my blood sugar freaking spike. I'm like, dang it. Oh, shoot. So really what I learned throughout this whole thing is if you're going to eat something, say you have a meal and you have protein, carbs, and fat, and someone way more with expertise there's so many other podcasts that you can listen to. This is just my little experience. So, take what I have to say and run with it if you want. But protein, carbs, vegetables, if you would say, you eat the vegetables first because that fiber like kind of coats your stomach lining to kind of protect it. and then you eat the protein to kind of, have that good base layer, and then you eat the carbs. So the carbs are the last thing you eat, so it doesn't immediately spike your sugar. So what I learned with the pineapple, I was like, okay, I can't eat this much pineapple, and I need to eat it with something else. So I ate it with cottage cheese because that's a protein, and it completely changed how it affected how my blood sugar went after I ate it. It's just like little tiny tweaks. I know. And if you're going to eat a cookie, but just do it like right after the meal. So there's like some base, layer in there. Have a quick dessert if you want it. I just super fascinating. I was worried that I think you just have fears during pregnancy that, things aren't going well, or you're going to be the one that has this or that. And there's just so many different things that are out of your control. Like some people just get gestational diabetes because they just get it no matter how healthy they eat. But I was a little concerned. So seeing those numbers and then being able to tweak my diet like holistically was so much better than just going into a doctor's office and drinking a drink and then getting my blood, taken and be like, yeah, pass or fail.
Yeah, and that's education for life.
Exactly. So now I can eat like that even when I'm not pregnant. I know kind of which order to eat. Doing apple cider vinegar or any type of vinegar before a meal kind of helps like keep that lower too. Shout out to Glucose Goddess on Instagram. She also has a book, but that's kind of where a lot of this came from with when to eat what, how to eat it, what to eat first, stuff like that. She goes into detail on her Instagram page. It's very, very interesting.
That makes so much sense. And it makes it... God, our American diet's so fucked up. Like, usually you have, like, bread as an appetizer. Shit, I'll drink a beer and have bread.
I know. Oh, it's hard. It's hard with the way we eat and we're used to eating. Like, when you do splurge and get a hamburger and fries, what are you going to eat first? The fries, because they're better when they're warmer. And I'm like, dang it, let me just try to... Now I'll do, like, a little small protein shake before I eat, and then I'll splurge on some hamburger and fries if I like really want something. I'll be like, let me eat my protein first, and then I'll eat the good stuff.
That makes sense though. And I guess too that makes sense with like eating a salad first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you'd have your fiber.
Yeah. So
which I do.
Very interesting. I got a couple questions like, oh, you have diabetes? Because you can like see it on my arm. It's like, no, hopefully not. Like, I'm just doing this because I'm pregnant. It's just very like not normal thing to do. So it was fun to have some conversations and answer questions for people that were wondering why I was doing that. And then I was able to explain it. And they're like, wow, that makes sense. Why doesn't everyone do that? So, yeah, that's a great question.
Right? Because insurance fucking sucks.
Yeah. I think with the
topic for another
day. I know. If you are pregnant out there, maybe ask your provider. No, this is not medical advice. No advice given here, but it's called the Libre, and I believe you can do a free trial. So you only have to monitor it for 2 weeks during pregnancy, typically, unless they see something, you have to do it again. But it was free.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. You get the first 2 weeks for free, and unless you're diabetic or you need extra monitoring, you don't have to do it again. So.
How long can that thing stay in your arm?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Also, how was it putting it in your arm?
So I really wasn't sure what the process was going to be. But there's a really funny video. It's not actually me putting it in my arm because I was a big baby and I didn't do it on video. But I have a video of me leading up to putting it on my arm. So we'll post that on social media this week. There is a big freaking needle. I didn't know. And I got freaked myself out. But of course it makes sense. Like you have to have something in there to like for a sensor. So you put it together and then you put it on your arm and then all you do is like click it in, and it, it's very fast. You can feel it slightly, but I did it so fast that I was like, and I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But it was
okay.
Yeah.
I already have the heebie-jeebies. Number 2, can you feel it in your arm?
So you can't really feel it in your arm unless you run into walls like I do, because I cut the corners real fast sometimes. And like,
I don't like not really feeling it. That's not a definitive enough answer for me.
Okay, when you first put it on, honestly, I was like, oh my God, is this in my muscle? Like, I was like moving my arm back and forth. I was like, this feels weird. Like, is it okay? But then, like, after a couple hours, you kind of forget about it until you know, take off a bra and it kind of flinches on it, or your purse string kind of pulls down on it, or you run into the door and it kind of bumps it. Those are the moments where I'm like, ah! Like, it just felt weird. The adhesive is so strong, but it definitely like jostles it slightly, and I did not like that feeling, and that did happen quite a bit, unfortunately, because I forgot it was there. I will say though, it's better than having to prick your finger every day or after every meal. I wouldn't want to do that. I would take this over that. But it was totally like a whole thing I had to adjust to, because those moments were like shit, and it kind of hurt sometimes.
If you're weightlifting, can you feel it like scrangling around in there while you're moving your muscles?
No, in the like when I first installed it, when I first put it in, I felt like I was hyper aware of it and like, oh my God, is the needle like moving in between my muscles? Because I do acupuncture, and sometimes when you move if you move during acupuncture, it's gonna feel cringe. Yeah, but it's not really like that. It's just if you hit it on stuff. Your face.
I'm gonna have to lie down and put my feet up.
Hey, worth it though, man. The data was so interesting. And it's super easy.
I mean, I want to do it.
All you have to do is put it on your arm, you download the app, and then at any point when you want, but you're supposed to do it like 1 hour after a meal and then 2 hours after a meal, and then you're supposed to do your fasting like when you wake up. But I learned right when you wake up, like don't immediately have your alarm go off and then do it, because I kind of got into fight or flight. Like my cortisol was really high when my alarm would go off. So I had to like regulate a hot second, like 30 minutes before you eat. Like wake up, then 30 minutes, don't eat anything, then do your fasting. So you just take your phone and you literally just put it up to the back of your arm and it dings and it reads your blood sugar.
Does caffeine affect your blood sugar?
I haven't been drinking much caffeine, so I didn't see like a strong result from that. I feel like if you probably had a lot of caffeine on an empty stomach, it would. But I have no data to back that up.
I know. I mean, that's not blood sugar. I don't know.
I mean, if it causes stress and your cortisol's higher, it could make your blood sugar increase a little bit, I think. Interesting. Yeah, man. So I liked it, even though it was kind of a pain in the butt. I think it was worth it.
So interesting. I mean, again, way better data, way more helpful. Interesting.
Yeah,
I would have rather have done that, and just because back when I was not feeling well and like feeling dizzy, it would have been nice to see if that was corresponding with low blood sugar. Even though that wasn't my issue and I'm not pre-diabetic or whatever, it would have just been interesting.
Yeah. You saw me on video that one day and I was super low blood sugar. I didn't realize it until I started monitoring this. And every time I felt a certain way, I would check it and be like, oh, this is what low blood sugar feels like. Okay, good to know. I just had no idea.
Luckily, that's something my mom did, like back in the 90s, did that fad zone diet, but it was based on like balancing protein and carbs and like keeping your blood sugar regulated so that you didn't have blood sugar spikes and then like bottom out and feel hungry and all that other shit. So she actually got some decent education from that, and then it was just kind of like a household thing, like go have some protein.
That's cool. That's awesome.
So I know, and just the awareness of what low blood sugar even was, because I think I've had some times where like I kind of was hypoglycemic and would get dizzy and clammy, and my mom was always like, your blood sugar's low, go get something.
Wow.
I don't know, very interesting.
Fascinating.
Very interesting. Any other pregnancy updates?
That's a lot for today. I think that's it. But
okay, that's
fair. Yeah, it's been good. I'll keep everyone posted.
Okay. So interesting. I know. I just like to gather data, even if I'm not going to use it for myself. or if for any of the men out there, that's why this is important if you're listening, because you're inevitably going to know a woman, especially if you're a straight guy and you want to have kids someday. Like, listen the fuck up, because you're going to be a real asset to your family if you understand this stuff about your wife and can be supportive of her during that process.
1000%.
To all of you out there, why am I listening to this? This doesn't apply to me. Okay. Anyway, please notice.
Oh,
I failed to point this out in the beginning. Please notice that I am wearing my Liquid Death Country Club shirt that my brother got for me for Christmas.
I love it so much.
Much to the sadness of my other brother, who's not a fan of like skull wear. Also, excuse me pulling out my chair for a moment so you can see the back. It's great.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love it. It's crazy how that brand blew up. I love everything, but that's awesome shirt.
I know. For those of you only listening, I think it says Liquid Death Country Club on the back, but it's like a huge skull and he's like melty and there's like pickaxes. It's very aggressive. I love wearing it. I wore it. When did I wear this? On New Year's Day or New Year's Eve? Yeah, I wore it on New Year's Eve because it was like the death of the last year. I did not get that idea from myself. One of our local breweries does like a funeral for whatever the year is that they're ringing out, and I fucking love it. Anyway, this leads me to my next thing of how Liquid Death is not a sponsor, but I know they sponsor numerous podcasts. And so we're just putting these things out into the universe. So maybe someday it'll be real.
I would love to be sponsored by Liquid Death. I'll have it, my product placement right here.
I would double fist cans of Liquid Death. I would have a water. My favorite is the Tall Boy sparkling water that's in a black can with gold because it looks like a Guinness. And I loved drinking that at my old job because all of my coworkers thought I was cracking a can of beer at work. And then my other favorite one that I think is fairly new is the Armless Palmer, which is half tea, half lemonade.
I didn't know that was
like an Arnold Palmer.
I didn't know that was a product.
So, there's a piece of fuzz floating. Yeah.
Okay, on my list
Armless
to be
Palmer.
on my list of things to buy. That sounds amazing.
Bro, so good. I drank one during my tattoo getting.
Nice.
Right?
That's perfect.
I know. But yeah, so for everyone listening, this is an unpaid endorsement for Liquid Death. I do really like their bevies. I mean, look, the water's water, and I'm probably not going to spend the extra money on just the flat water because I don't have a millionaire lifestyle yet. But if I did, that would be the only thing I buy. But their flavored sparkling water is good, and they don't use artificial sweeteners or flavs. The Armless Palmer is so good. And for everyone that doesn't know about them, their whole thing is death to plastic, and their shit's in aluminum cans. So that's where like the death comes from. And my brother got this for me, like I said, with the candle that looks like a cut off arm. It's like a severed hand candle. I'm saving it for Halloween. I can't wait to burn it. It's so amazing. It's all black wax, and it literally looks like there's like a bone sticking out at the end of the wrist.
I love that.
Dude, it's so morbid. It's amazing. And then they send me, I signed up for their like Liquid Death. I don't remember what the name is. It's something like text messages. You get their marketing text messages, but they also send you a horoscope. I posted it in stories actually. What will now have been a couple weeks ago, because the one that I just got was so ridiculous today. But instead of being like a horo, like how it's normally spelled, horoscope, they call them horror scopes.
I love that.
And they're nightmares. Oh my God. It's so fun. I love everything about like jokey marketing and goofing off. And I don't have a death fascination, but I just have this appreciation of death because it makes life meaningful.
Hey,
like not being dead is something to be thankful for at a minimum.
I like that outlook. Liquid Death, please sponsor us. Look at how much we're hyping you up.
I know, right?
That is awesome.
Unpaid bros. No lies. Okay, anyway. But that leads me then to my next question. Do you ever play lottery? Like, do you ever buy lottery tickets?
Okay, yeah, yes. We didn't used to, but recently, as in like the last maybe 3-4 years, we don't do like the small, fun, scratchy offy ones. If we're gonna do it, we like go for the gusto. We're like Powerball, Mega Millions. Let's have a 1 in 50 million chance of getting it. But like if we did, it would be life changing. So we don't do the small ones. We just go for the gusto and do the big ones. And of course, we've never won anything. But you know, we can dream. And every time we buy one, we have like an hour conversation about what we would do with the money. And it's always slightly disappointing once we don't get it. But it's fun. It's fun sometimes. It's fun and then sad and then fun again. So
I know. I was always so judgy of people that were like doing lottery shit. But we had like a couple weird like coincidences on our trip that we just took for our anniversary. So we're like, fuck it, let's buy a lottery ticket. Like it just kind of became the joke of the weekend. And we forgot until we got back home and we were filling up gas. And Jason, I was like, oh, fuck, we have to go get lottery tickets. So he was like, here, you go buy them. Confession, what I wanted to do was get like a Powerball ticket, but I don't know how to do that. And I was too nervous to pick numbers, and I didn't want to let them pick them for me because that feels stupid. So Jason's like, well, don't get like cheesy $1 scratch offs. That's stupid. So he gave me $20 and told me to go get two $10 scratch offs because those like the max winnings on those each were like 2 million. So it's like,
that's legit.
Yeah, still enough to be millionaires. Not enough to maybe like completely say fuck you to the system and go off the grid, but you know, certainly be a little more comfortable. I could buy all the microfiber cloths I wanted. So we actually have to finish scratching one tonight because it was too complicated.
Oh no.
When we tried to scratch it this morning, I like couldn't understand the rules. I just want to like match numbers. I don't want to have to it's a whole thing. I got it because it was like Jason's favorite number and then like my favorite number. I just picked those on the board. And then his favorite number was actually the ticket number 13, which is my favorite number. So I was like, this has to be our winning scratch off. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But that was the whole thing we were doing today. And then it got me on the topic of what you said. Like we've had so many discussions of what we would do if we became millionaires. And then it made me think, what would you do if all of our dreams came true and we became millionaires? What would be your like bougie, throwaway, frivolous purchase or thing?
I can think of one specifically, but I want to go back real quick and just let you know and give you some validation. Every time we have bought a Powerball or Mega Millions lottery ticket, we are fucking dumbasses about it. We don't know how to ask. All we know is that they can only take cash. So we bring in cash and we're like, can we get like, because you can do one where I think you have like one number for $2, or you can get a whole like 5 rows of numbers for $10 or something like that. And it's just like, can we get like $20 worth of the Powerball? How does it work again? Every time I just feel like a fucking dumbass. So you're not the only one, because I don't also still know how to do it, even though we've done it multiple times. But anyway, that was a side note. I just wanted to let you know that it's confusing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, thank you, because it was overwhelming enough to pick out of the like 20 scratch offs that there were that were $10. Yeah. And the idea of picking numbers made me so nervous.
We've never picked numbers.
That I just
we just.
I feel like I would have to pick
I know. Well,
them.
now that you say that, it makes me feel like shit. We should have been picking them, but yeah, we just let it just like randomly pick the numbers for you, and then they just print it off.
Maybe I would do like one of each. Anyway, the moral of the story is that I think we're going to start doing this a little bit more often. At a minimum, I want this to be like our new anniversary tradition, because we did not have like traditional cake at our wedding. So, okay, of course, my dumb ass has to make everything ceremonial. So I went and got out the like till death do us part, like, or no, it said happily ever after, because people aren't that fucking morbid for wedding gifts. But the knife that you're supposed to cut your cake with, that we obviously didn't use because we didn't have cake. So I was like, Jason, we have to scratch off our lottery tickets with our cutting the cake knife.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's so funny.
And then I played a song called Millionaire by Chris Stapleton. And what else did we do? I don't remember. We did a few like things, but I told him this is faux show, our new tradition, because it was so fun and lighthearted and stupid, and I really enjoyed it.
I love that. Okay, going back to what you said. So my one thing, I mean, there's multiple things. And of course there's smart, logical things. But if we had like fuck you money is how we say it, is no, not the first thing, but my first bougie thing would be to hire a personal chef. Come and live in the house, make me all my stuff. I don't want to do it anymore. So, personal chef would be my dream.
If you become a millionaire off not this podcast and have fuck you money, if you're willing to pay me fuck it money, I would be your personal chef.
Okay, would you move here then?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
if I could quit my job, no doubt.
Okay, I got it. Oh, I'm on it. Because that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. If we have fuck you money from this podcast and we're both millionaires, I'll just like buy a house also where you live.
Yeah, that's true. We could just buy second properties and just go back and forth.
Yeah.
I love it. What would you do if you won it big?
Ooh, okay. So I was thinking about this. The things to me that would feel rich to do, that would just be, and again, this is just off the shoulder stupid shit. None of the actual first, second, and 20 things I would do. But if I had like fuck you money, it doesn't matter. Matching bra and underwear sets 7 days a week. I'd probably have a full 2-week rotation. Matching. I would have like sporty matchings, fancy matchings. I'd never feel better about myself than when my bra and underwear match. And it happens maybe once a year.
I feel that.
On Valentine's Day.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that one.
Right? Because even the little like sporty sports bras and then like matching like boy shorts.
Because it gets expensive to have to buy every single pair of them like on a regular basis. Yeah.
I mean, we previously discussed that I have high school underwear.
That's
still.
True.
I mean, and I have bras that are ancient. The ancient of days. Yeah, so that would definitely be one. I would have like all genres, because if we then were having like business meetings, because obviously the real things I would do would involve me like opening up some type of philanthropic organization and running something. But then I could, when I had executive meetings, I could wear my like boss bitch underwear that no one would know I was wearing, but I would know. And then that in the combination of walking in my red bottom heels, bruh.
That's the other thing. I'll agree with you on that. I would love some red bottom heels.
Can't pronounce the name. Louis Louboutin. The name of the
Louis
brand.
Vuitton? I'm not saying it very properly. They say it funny, huh?
It's a different one. It's like
I'm ignorant, obviously, to this. Really?
I know, it's not Louis Vuitton. I thought it was too. And then a man that knows about fashion and for what you will, told me the actual brand.
Oh my God. Well, I feel stupid.
Don't feel stupid. I didn't know.
I think there are some by them, but there's probably other ones that are different.
I think the actual, let me just do a Goog. I think the official thing. All right, let me look this up.
Yeah, let's fact check ourselves here. I'm very curious.
Christian Louboutin.
That's Louis Vuitton.
It is? What do you mean that's Louis Vuitton?
Wait.
How is Louis Vuitton Christian?
Hold on. Now We're both going to sound so dumb on this podcast.
Well, we're not millionaires yet, okay?
I swear to heaven, Christian Louboutin. I'm not saying it correctly because there's probably a more fancy, rich way to say it, but that is it. Not
okay,
Louis.
No, because Louboutin is spelled different. All right. I found Louis Vuitton versus Louboutin. I don't know how to do this. My French lessons are not going well.
Oh yeah, okay.
It says, what's the difference?
So we're talking about either Louis with a L and then Vuitton with a V, like the bags, the purses, all those stuff.
Yeah.
But then
there's Christian. It looks like Louboutin, if you're from where I live.
In my ignorant mind, Louis Vuitton and Louis Vuitton are kind of the same thing.
Here's the problem.
I'm so dumb.
Did you look it up on your side? Can you see it? So for everyone listening that is also as ignorant as we are, you have Louis Vuitton, which looks like Louis Vuitton. So Louis, last name Vuitton, versus the red bottom person is Christian, spelled like the faith of Jesus. Last name Louboutin. God damn, this is embarrassing. Spelled Louboutin. They're both French.
In my head. Oh my God, in my head, I was so confident, and now I'm not confident at all. I want to know how to pronounce. I thought Louis Vuitton. Well, shit, now I'm all confused, Kaylee. We may need to just cut this whole part out.
This is staying in forever and ever, and it's going to get clipped out as a side. It's probably going to start off the show. I also thought it was that YSL brand, that Yves Saint Laurent. But that's not it either. It's Christian and his low bottoms. He does the red.
Such peons, and obviously not at a point in our lives where we're buying any of these things. Damn. Well, we got to do some research, and then I mean,
now I've sorted it out. I'm certain that it's Christian, and
yes,
I'm certain that he's a different person.
But just how do we pronounce it? Because
let me look it up. I'm sure Google will tell me. Oh, they know Google can hear me. It's like the first thing. All right.
This French brand with a typical French pronunciation, it would be said Louboutin. 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 But it'd be fine in English or American to say Louboutin. Louboutin. Or in French, Louboutin.
Okay. I'm throwing in an extra Louis Vuitton because I'm thinking of Louis Vuitton. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Louboutin.
I'm just going to call them red bottoms.
Well, yeah, obviously I learned about red bottom shoes from a rap video. And
oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. It is none of what I thought it was, but I'm going to have some of those, and I'm going to have matching red underwear, and I am going to love my life.
I'm crying for about the last 5 minutes. Oh my God. I like what you're saying, and I agree with you. I cannot buy them until I know how to pronounce them. So that's going to be my
Louboutin.
Christian. I'm not going to even try it.
I don't know how to do Christian in French.
I also am not going to try it because I don't want
to. Christian.
Oh my God.
Louboutin. Croissant. Wait. Let me show off my French that I learned how to say. Il y a trois chevaux ici.
Ooh.
There are 3 horses here.
Such a random sentence.
The shit that Duolingo teaches me is I understand they're using words to
build upon, kind of
teach. Yeah, like to teach a trait or like to teach a grammar lesson, but some of it's nonsensical. If anybody wondered why I just stopped speaking for a full 30 seconds, it's because my brain was loading because I had interrupted myself. And then I was trying to not interrupt myself, interrupting myself. And then I just lost the ability to speak. Okay, anyway. So the moral of the story is that someday when we're millionaires, Kayla's going to have a personal chef. We'll take professional French classes so we can pronounce the name of the brand that we're going to buy so we can wear our red bottom shoes. And my lingerie game is going to be on point.
It's perfect. Oh my god. That'd be great. Let's put it out there.
I know. Oh my god. I got a stitch in my side from laughing so
I
hard.
Can't believe I just made such a fool of myself.
I feel like such a dumb fuck. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. I can pronounce Target.
When you want to.
All right. I have some listener feedback to share. We got another spam voicemail. I'm not going to play it because it's legitimately for like a medical provider and it says their first and last name. But the beginning of it, the way it was transcribed says, "Hello, my name is Papa John."
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. And I think it's because this person had a very strong accent, and I listened 1,000 times and could not decipher what the name of the representative was that was calling, but it does sound like Papa John. So Papa John is calling us from Austin Behavioral Health, and they wanted to indicate that this provider needs to adjust their provider directory. And it's like, well, no shit, because the provider's phone number in your goddamn directory is our podcast.
That's weird.
Isn't that weird? And what's also funny is that whoever this is that's calling, I think it's real too. I think Optum Health is real. Anyway, my leg's asleep. It's weird that the provider would have a 920 area code, which is what our phone number is, which is for Wisconsin, and then be an Austin behavioral health person.
So strange.
It's really weird. It's a weird combination too of I have a behavioral health degree, you live in Austin.
Calling the 920 number? Yeah. Super strange.
Yeah. Anyway, that was very entertaining for me. So maybe someday someone real will call us. Next, we touched on this last time, but I have a response about our childhood realizations.
Oh, yeah.
So I took a screenshot from Instagram on the comments, but it says this was in regards to the clip of me talking about finding what was not a back massager. So it says, this must be a generational thing, believing things other than what they were created to be. When I was a kid, I remember coming across some thick white rectangular things. My mom told me they were just cleaning products. Funny how I never saw her scrubbing the floor with them. I do remember the day the light bulb went off, and I went, "Ma, nuh-uh." Can you figure out what she's talking about?
She's talking about like period pads?
Yeah. So I didn't understand. So I wrote back, wait, what were
For a second when you said when a light bulb went off, I'm like, wait, I thought you meant they were going to be used changing a light bulb, but I understand the context now. Okay.
Did you think they were microfiber cloths?
No. I'm assuming pads.
So it said they were old style Kotex napkins because that was the only brand available. And they had this quote unquote mattress in the middle and little flaps at the front and the back that attached to this horrid elastic belt. I remember when we were talking about periods and I was talking about like old time pads having a belt.
Wow. It was only a couple weeks ago, but no, I don't remember that. But that's awful.
Yeah. Right? Okay, so then it goes on to say, I cannot believe this is how I was welcomed into womanhood. I should have turned around and said, no, thank you. Which reminds me of my resolution to use tampons. This gets great. So my resolution to use tampons without proper education on insertion and removal of the cardboard parts. I never knew there were parts that came apart to be discarded. I thought the whole thing just stayed in there and wondered why I had a little cardboard sticking out. One day it fell out and I was alarmed until I figured out that's how it worked.
Oh no, education. We gotta talk to our daughters about these things. That's so crazy.
I know. Can you imagine walking around all day? First of all, can you imagine using the cardboard inserts already suck.
Yeah. Oh, painful.
Like the old school ones that don't even have like a rounded tip. You're just expected to shove like a semi-blunt object up there.
Yep. I've had in desperate times, I feel like I have used a couple of those.
Yeah. Me too. Horrid. Because I think those are what the like 25 cent, probably because they're from 1970 when they first came out. Oh my God. Thank God for access to information now that didn't exist when this technology first came out. And thank God that more like women are in companies and spaces designing this, because I guarantee you a woman did not make an elastic belt with like a cotton ball mattress to wear around. Like a woman would have walked into that boardroom and been like, fuck you. No.
That's crazy. Yeah, we've luckily come a long way. Wow.
I guarantee you men were spending so much time focusing on how thin they could make a condom, it never occurred to them to make a period less painful.
Valid.
Rants for days. Okay. So that was amazing. Next. I had commented or posted a quick clip on YouTube Shorts when we were talking about getting a wax, and specifically how I had said, like, listen, ladies, do whatever it is that you want to do, but just give yourself the pleasure of one time trying a waxed butthole. And this person commented on it and said, this was all, quote, have you ever tried to get peanut butter out of a shag carpet?
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Is that not the best visualization of why everyone should try it?
That's funny. I don't like that visual, but it's so funny. No, yeah.
This person's screen name, which I am assuming I'm allowed to say because it's not their real name, it says John Star 2001. I'm assuming it's a guy, and I'm also assuming he's pretty hairy, and this had some gnarly shits. I'm so curious if he's ever waxed his butthole.
Oh my God. Peanut butter and shag carpet. That reminds me when my dog diarrheaed in my shag carpet, and I tried to ladle it out with a spoon, thinking I was going to save it. And I looked at Kenny, and I was like, yeah, we got to throw the whole freaking thing away. It was a huge, nice shag carpet. And she liquid diarrhea. Talk about liquid death. She liquid diarrheaed all in the middle of it. And I literally tried to save it with a ladle. And then realized there was no salvaging it. So it was just bleh. Yeah, sorry, side story.
If your baby ever liquid shits on something and you tried to pull out the ladle again, will you take a video?
Yes. So bad.
That's worse than my house with the original pine floors that have some spacing sometimes between some of the wood. And I have spent some times like folding like paper towel to try to get a point so I could slide it down the crease and try to pull the diarrhea out.
Okay, sorry. Now I have to go back one more story and talk. I will post the picture, but our Rottweiler, when we first got him as a puppy, had explosive diarrhea, and it got on the wall, like our drywall, which is textured. He must have literally turned around in a circle. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but there was like like someone sprayed diarrhea on the wall. And you should have seen us trying to clean it up out of the textured wall. Like, we couldn't get everything out. So we just painted over at one point. So now there's like a poopy wall. And At one point I scrubbed so hard that the drywall was trying to like come off. So we cleaned it the best as we could and then painted over it.
I mean, it was probably acidic poo.
It was horrible. Oh my God. It was the worst experience ever. There is a picture and I will post it because it was like, how did he do this? Like, I wish we had a camera on him because he literally must have flung his butt around in a circle to get it to spray up against the wall like that.
Oh my God. Dude, this reminds me of how much I love magic erasers because it's the only thing I've been able to get stuff off of.
We need to buy some for our future child.
I don't know what sort of voodoo is in those things, but they are unbelievable.
That was a good, funny side poop tangent.
It always comes back to basics. All right, I'm sitting on my heels trying to stop myself from going to the bathroom. So we're going to wrap this up before I have a story about that one time I peed my pants on the podcast. But thank you to the listeners for joining us. And Kayla, thank you as always. It has been delightful celebrating our Sweet 15.
I love it. And thank you for the turkeys to always listening to us and making it this far, even though we talk about the most gross, random stuff. Especially the men out there. If you're still here, we appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. And also, anybody that speaks French or speaks fancy, please leave a voicemail of just all of the brands that I butchered. The one that I'm certain I can pronounce is Coach.
I'm still so embarrassed. Anyway, okay, yeah, let's wrap this up before I say something stupid again.
Okay, well, until next week, my friend.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.